History of America. The history of America is a rich and complex tapestry that spans thousands of years, from the indigenous peoples who first inhabited the continent to the diverse society that exists today. Here is a broad overview of key events and periods in American history. Pre-Columbian Era. Indigenous peoples, including Native American tribes, had lived in the Americas for thousands of years before the arrival of European explorers. They developed sophisticated societies, cultures, and economies. Age of Exploration. In the late 15th and early 16th centuries, European explorers like Christopher Columbus, Hernán Cortés, and Francisco Pizarro began to establish contact with the Americas, leading to the Columbian Exchange, which brought new goods, diseases, and cultures to both the Old and New Worlds. Colonial America. European powers, particularly England, France, and Spain, established colonies in North America during the 17th and 18th centuries. The 13 British colonies on the eastern seaboard would become the foundation for the United States. American Revolution. The American Revolution, which began in 1775 and culminated in 1783, resulted in the 13 colonies gaining their independence from British rule, leading to the formation of the United States of America. Early Republic. The newly formed United States adopted the Articles of Confederation in 1777 and later the Constitution in 1787, establishing a federal system of government. George Washington became the country's first president in 1789. Westward expansion. In the 19th century, America underwent significant westward expansion, often at the expense of indigenous peoples. The Louisiana Purchase, the Oregon Trail, and the California Gold Rush were important events during this period. Civil War. The United States experienced a devastating civil war from 1861 to 1865 between the Northern States, Union, and the Southern States, Confederacy, over issues of slavery, states' rights, and secession. Reconstruction. After the Civil War, the Reconstruction era aimed to rebuild the South and grant civil rights to African Americans. However, it was marked by significant challenges and tensions. Industrialization and Gilded Age. The late 19th century saw rapid industrialization, urbanization, and the rise of big business. It was also a time of wealth inequality and political corruption. Progressive Era. In the early 20th century, the progressive movement aimed to address social and political issues, leading to reforms in areas like women's suffrage, labor laws, and antitrust regulations. World Wars and Cold War. The United States played a significant role in both World War I and World War II. The post-World War II period was marked by the Cold War, a geopolitical and ideological rivalry with the Soviet Union that lasted until the early 1990s. Civil Rights Movement. The mid-20th century saw the Civil Rights Movement, which sought to end racial segregation and discrimination. Key events include the Brown v. Board of Education decision and the March on Washington in 1963. Contemporary America. The latter half of the 20th century and the early 21st century have been marked by significant social, political, and technological changes, including the Civil Rights Movement, the Internet Revolution, and the global war on terror. How America dominated the world. The notion that America has dominated the world is a complex and contentious one. The global influence of the United States has evolved over time and is influenced by a multitude of factors. Here are some key points to consider when discussing America's global influence. Economic power. The United States has one of the world's largest and most advanced economies, which has been a significant driver of its global influence. American corporations, financial institutions, and technological innovation have played a major role in shaping the global economy. Military power. The United States has one of the most formidable military forces in the world. Its military strength, strategic alliances, and overseas bases have allowed it to project power and influence in various regions. Political influence. The United States played a central role in the establishment of international organizations like the United Nations and has often taken a leading role in shaping global political developments. Soft power. American ideals such as democracy, freedom, and human rights have had a powerful influence on global political discourse and have inspired movements for change in various parts of the world. Trade and diplomacy. The United States has engaged in diplomacy and trade agreements that have shaped global economic relationships. The North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, and its successor, the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, are examples of this.